But now I'm asked a lot all the time, Elijah, what gives you the inspiration to make these videos? It's mainly no one can stop me, and I don't want to stop because I find myself funny at times. And then I get asked, Elijah, how do you come up with such bland ideas for your videos? And that's also very easy. See, what I do is I drain my battery until it's at 14%, and then I start recording. Now you're also probably thinking, Elijah, what should I do to start a business? It comes to the right place, for I am a businessman, a man of business, and my own business is not your beeswax. How to start businesses? Top 10 things you need to do. First, get people who are dumb enough to give their time and effort into your business. And anyone who's like, I didn't vaccinate my kids. There you go. Just say you agree with them, they'll work for free. Now, what's your next move? Everything on this list needs to be followed. Rule number 3 for running a business. Make sure to stomp any other business in the dirt. That means destroy them before they hatch. That's just like be the dragonfly to the mosquito embryo. What does that mean? It means you drop your baby in the water while the mosquito drops his, and your baby eats the mosquito. Viciously, and like the alien from Alien. Now, number 4. What's the next thing you do? You buy every other company. As soon as you become big enough, and you have over $1 million to sell, and people find your company good enough to invest in, you buy every other business, because you know, just like they know, they're not worth shit, and you don't give a shit. So you both have your interests aligned at that point, and now you can move forward with your life. Number 4. So for number 4, it's a very simple thing to do. If we look back at the great times of when business was really good and great for people, when business stood up for its people. Now we're gonna have to go back a little bit to go back to when business stood up for its people. Late 1800s to the 1920s. That's when businesses cared the most. Businesses knew you needed work, and they knew you were desperate enough to be paid $5 a day so that you can go work and grab like a sandwich at the end of the day. They had to split into 6 pieces for every person in your family. How does that correlate to today's? Well, that means you can scam anyone out of what they have. You promise them something, you make them sign a contract that has a bunch of big words they don't know about, boom, you got them hooked in, they can't do anything about it. Some people might call it scummy, but I call it thinking outside the box. When I say thinking outside the box, I mean the box that is the jury, the judge, the executioner, and just the entire room. Now you're probably thinking, Elijah, my business is starting to stagnate. What should I do about that? Step number 4. You want to grow your business. How do you do so? Well, you make sure that every other business is crushed to the ground and pulverized until there's nothing left of them except for their money. Now, how do you do this? Say you're a news site and you're selling news to people. Usually, in the old days, when you sold papers, you'd throw a paper at their house and say, hey, give us a tip. We gave you the news. And that usually works for 25 cents. What you can do now is make it so ads block up 95% of the screen so they have to buy what you're selling. No matter what you sell, no matter how bad it is, just make it worse, but make it good enough to buy. Now you're probably thinking, Elijah, that's out of my moral compass. You're not going to be a good businessman. That's too bad for you, because you're missing out on all the money that can make you happy. That's not true. The emptiness that you feel inside of you will always continue to the rest of the time, and nothing you can do about it will ever change. And I hope you know that being a businessman won't change that, it'll just make you rich. Now, you're probably asking, Elijah, well, what's after step number 4? Well, that's easy. Step number 4, how do I grow my business even more? Well, just like Jeff Bezos probably would have done, if he saw a kid on the street at a garage sales trying to sell his bike, Jeff Bezos would punch that kid, take the bike, and sell it for double the price. I actually don't know if that's a joke to me, because that just kind of sounds real, and it's making me chuckle. Now, you're probably wondering, what should I do for all my workers that are going to work with me? That's a good question. The best answer for that is make all of them a number and just pretend those numbers never get hurt by anything and that those numbers work forever. This always works and no one ever quits because they have no other alternatives. And that's okay, because you're their only job and their only source of revenue. Make sure to remind them that every month because you hold their bill above their head, and make sure to tell them they're nothing without you. Now, what do you call this strategy? I call this strategy the abusive girlfriend who never leaves you alone, breaks up with you, and then wants to get back together. How do I know this? Don't ask, that's a long story. Now you're probably asking, Elijah, there's a lot of steps. And to that you'd be right, because there are 4 out of 10. These are my top 10 steps on how to build a better business